Okay, guys. Just wanted to go over how the build's been so far, kind of like what we've been up to. See here, for Spire, being able to collect the max rewards. Descent raid, over 1 trillion damage, which is kind of absurd. At 1.1 trillion. I tried Shema recently. And of course, the Void Rift, we're at the very end of that. So we finished the Void Rift fully. That's the new Void Rift. Alright. So I wanted to go over a few things. First one is, here's the skill tree currently. I'm not going to go into in-depth build because I kind of wanted to go over charms and a little bit more on crafting for this video. The build hasn't changed too much other than I moved to penetrating slash when I got it. You can do whatever. The teleport's my favorite, but because I have quite a few awakenings already, I decided to kind of go with the a couple different skills. So penetrating slash with momentum, damage reduction, and disarm. 2 slots are still available for it. I'm just using these 2 abysslings right now. Buff activation upon using movement skill. And one thing I'll do is I'll hop around the map, and then when I know Bulwark of Protection is up, I'll use my Whirlwind. And then I'll use Bulwark of Protection with the penetrating slash and the momentum to get a huge amount of damage dampening whenever I need it. We've been able to get pretty lucky. So we got this down to a 9-second cooldown. That's using the everything attached here, along with 20% skill rune cooldown recovery speed. So kind of nice. And here's the setup we're using right now. Sometimes if I need to, I will switch with the decreased duration over to the mark of focus to get it up to 127%. Stuff like that. This is where we're at here. There's going to be a few changes. Like I'll switch out cut with winding wind and whatnot, but there hasn't been anything too big with the build. So if you just want to take a screenshot of that or whatnot, you can. And that's the setup we usually have on the bar. I'll have like Sacred Devotion or Lightning Abyssling, something here. All right. Here's a couple of the gear crafts we've had. I'll go over each one of them. Some things I don't consider best in slot, like minion HP to crit rate. I'd love to have crit damage, but when we did the high craft, we hit something that was okay, and I don't have enough mats right now, so just because I have it, I'm showing you, it doesn't mean that's the best. A lot of gear is usually just kind of what you could get. It's a really well made belt that we made. Tons of HP and resistances. We were messing with HP cooldown recovery. And when the high craft hit the armor up here, I just went with it. Here's some boots. Gloves. Too bad we didn't get that amp higher. Chest. Same shoulders as we had before. We've already showed this too. One thing we've changed with the helmet was we had a 14 strength up here. And something special in hardcore you can do is you can actually use a Serpens essence to move a prefix to a suffix, or a suffix to a prefix. It's random what you're going to get, which you can hope for the best. I did need lightning resist, and we actually were able to move a T7 prefix that we didn't really need into a resist that was actually kind of useful. Same thing we did here with the boots. We had a useless prefix up here. It dropped down and became movement speed can't fall below base value. And I believe we did that with this ring as well. Oh, not this one. This one. It had a useless suffix. So you could take something like gold gain chance or something, click it, try to hope that you get something like minion damage or whatnot. And that's what happened here. And the way those work, just so people understand. So like my weapon here, we'll show something other than the weapon. So like these shoulders, right? Let's say I wanted to have these shoulders be a little bit different here. So I can click a Serpens Essence. And if we wanted to, we could say, hey, we have too much poison resist. So I can click this and hope that it's going to get one of these prefixes. And then if it pops up there and gets that HP, is that something I'd want? It'd be great. We've done it with a lot of different pieces of gear. This is one I don't really want to change, but... And you can do it with legendary gear. So usually what I'll do is I'll make a gear all the way legendary it, do my crafting on it, and then I'll go ahead and grab the Serpens Essence and move around the stats. This is for hardcore only. It looks like when you read this, it says hardcore mode and trade is the only way you can get these. So people in standard or whatnot, if you've been looking for a way to get that last piece of power out of some of your legendaries, this might be a really good way. Just ask for someone in hardcore to try to sell one to you. Last few things I wanted to go over. A lot of people have been asking. First was, how do you get some of the gear crafted that you have? That was the first. Second is, what charms do you use? So here's the charms we're using right now. HP crit damage, HP. Pretty much just all tank stats. All minion stats. Pretty tanky, but it has crit damage on it as well. Crit damage, HP, and a little tanky boy with some crit rate. How we're scaling the critical strike so high. So if you look on this, instead of having 40% crit, we went with 69 and 73. And this is where we get to the crafting for the charms. When you're in season 2, you're going to have a lot of charms. I'm even keeping some low level ones, 6s, 4s, and whatnot. What happens is that you need to upgrade your charms. So these slots, each slot is individual to a charm slot. You're also going to upgrade your Chaos Star, and then you're also going to have a overarching charm at level 10 that goes over all of your stats. So easy way to kind of explain this for everybody is pick a Chaos Blessing that you think is interesting. Blessing Effect was the easiest one for me. It gives me most access to change whatever I want. Feed it what it asks for until it gets to something that's kind of too expensive for you to get. At this point, it was a tier 9 Chaos Star for me. And most of the time, just kind of work on these blessings. So the first thing you want to do as a new character is hold on to all of your charms. And the first time you get access to this screen, go in and find the low level things that you can upgrade, such as this. Tier 3 above, attack all 5. So all this needs is a tier 3 charm. So I can go down and I can eat my low level charms down here. And it's only asking for an attack. So as long as there's an attack on here, right here, we got minions deal double damage. We got 1 attack. Critical damage works fine. Looks like seal mana cost seems to work. And we got that one right there. So it's asking for 5 and you have 5 slots. If for some reason you have something that's going to allow you to have more than 1 attack on it, in the prefix or suffix, it would allow you to put less charms in. But in this case, we'll just level this one up for you guys, see what it looks like. There you go. So now that we've leveled that up, it's going to increase a little bit of all your charm abilities, and then you're also going to work towards these max stats here. So as you see, if you get the max level of this, you're going to get the exclude damage all option as well as the blessing effect plus 25%. Now, I think a few people have made videos on how this all works. I just want to kind of show like how endgame works for this. Because endgame is just a little bit different than the rest of it is. A little bit more souped up. So you want to get really powerful is you're going to have to pick your first blessings, which can be anything like this, including stuff like the all option plus 50%. I wanted this to be one of my main ones I used all the time, but when the moment you take a charm to legendary, it no longer works. And the way you find that out is you just click on this little icon here, activation condition. The item will tell you what it needs to be. In this case, it needs to be grade rare. So you'll just kind of look around for some generic ones like this, which seem to work on anything. There's a magic one, which can allow you to boost your, like if you have a critical damage charm, it'll boost it very highly up. So let's like see if we have one right here for that particular slot. Not seeing one for that slot right here. But these are going to be the most important thing that you do to get the most out of your charms. So in this case, legendary. As long as the charm is legendary, you can get a increased blessing effect, prefix, and suffix option will be increased by this much. Legendary prefix option will actually be reduced. So I went here. I wanted to increase the prefix and suffix options, which would increase them slightly. And I wanted the blessing effect more than anything, because we needed Hamal to be at 130% for our Lacrima. So to get the Lacrima effect, we went with the blessing effect plus 15% here. Put the prefix and suffix on there. Secured the slot. So in this case, if I wanted to have this be in this slot, you just click it. And then it'll cost this material and hit apply. And it'll apply to that slot from now on. Pretty much all of them do what they say. They're really simple to do. Some things that confused a few people, stuff like critical all option. If you take this to level 10, you turn it into a 40%. That's going to affect things like your critical strike and your critical strike on your legendary effect as well. So as long as you understand that that's how that works, you're usually not going to run into a lot of problems with accidentally clicking something, activating it, and then finding out, oh, that doesn't work the way I thought it was. Oops. One thing you can do before you get legendary charms is all of them are rare. Activating this all option on apply to all slots was something I didn't even realize you could do at first. And that'll make it so that all of the slots here get a portion of what this is. It will probably be something more along everything will get like around 25% or something. It's usually a little bit lower than normal, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So in this case, here's the slots we went with. Critical all option in my strongest critical charm. Blessing effect in the bottom here. Now this is because we were using a blue charm here that was just critical damage, and that kind of ramped it all the way up into the 100 percentile. But then when we legendaried it and turned it rare, it just kind of kept the charm there. I'll have to change this one out here shortly. Prefix option and prefix option. That's because the two prefix options on top here seemed a little bit stronger than the attack speed. I already explained kind of what was going on here. And then this charm. This charm only had tier 7s. And I already had it legendary from a little bit when I first started. And to make that still useful, instead of having to go all the way into tier 9, you just activate something like this, and it'll show you. As long as you have tier 7 or above tiers, you're good to go. And that's tiers. That doesn't mean that your charm has to be tier 7. Charm can be tier 8. It just means that the tiers of the actual prefixes and suffixes must be tier 7 and below. And it'll boost them by a significant amount. Really enjoy this one. Tier 9 and above prefix and suffix. This is definitely very powerful, and one that you could think about turning into a rank 10 right away. I will recommend don't work on trying to get to rank 10 with each one of them right off the bat. The one you want to get to rank 10 right off the bat if you can is one that you can apply to all of your slots. So one that would be really easy to do, something like defense all options if you're in hardcore. That'll make it so that every defensive stat on all of your charms, like these HP stats, the critical damage dampening and whatnot, is going to get an increase. You can apply it to every slot when you hit apply to all here. and you'll see what that does. It'll show you what's going to happen. It'll get half of the benefit, but it'll apply it to every single one of them. And in this case, we went with the minions. And I didn't actually apply the minions to this for the reason that I wanted all the minion upgrades to happen. I mean, that was definitely one of them, and each charm has a minion on it, so that helps. But I actually needed the blessing effect to be plus 20% more, so that we could activate more of our charm slots. So, some pretty interesting stuff that you can do here. Anyway, wanted to go over that, just to recap real quick. Make sure you pick a Chaos Star Blessing, do that right off the bat. Feed your Tier 3 Chaos Charm into it, or Chaos Orb. And then immediately take something to level 10, apply it to all slots if you can, especially if it affects all of your charms. And then go ahead and start fleshing out what's going to be the most strongest for you. You can get some pretty strong charms like this where the crit damage just goes through the roof. One thing you'll need to do, as you've seen how you level up the charms, and this is really like difficult to manage doing all of these. That's why I kind of wanted to go over it with people. Is as you see here, if you want to level these, you're going to need to keep a lot of different kinds of charms. So blue charms aren't as important, but almost all of your rare charms, when you have tier 7 and above, like something like this that has tier 8, tier 7, and tier 8, keep all of these, because these are going to be the easiest to feed in to your charms and make it so that you're actually able to upgrade these. And in one case of these being really difficult to upgrade is like with this like tier 9 one. We're at a different part in that one. It was where we at with a very difficult one to level. That's kind of odd how it works. Like this one right here. You can only put 4 charms in. That's the condition. But they must all have tier 7 above attack prefix. So this means that each one of these charms that you put in, all 4, are going to have 2 prefixes. And you see how hard it is just right off the bat. I'm not even having any. We don't have any that are eligible yet. And they'll have to have 2 prefixes that are attack, and they have to be tier 7 and above. So keeping all of your tier 9 charms, or a lot of your tier 7 and above charms, is going to make this a lot easier to accomplish increasing your charms. Alright guys, so hopefully that helps. I just kind of wanted to go over how the Serpens Essence works and how you're able to make some kind of GG gear, or get rid of at least some of the broken stats that don't really work for you anymore. So like on my old chest piece here, if I don't like this attack block expertise, it's tier 12, I can put a Serpens Essence on here and hope to get HP underneath my HP here. That'd be a really powerful chest after that. Things like that will be really powerful. Another thing for crafting, can kind of go over for people, stuff with your staff. There's a bunch of different kinds of staffs you can make. The one I've been using is just Emotion, which is Spica, and it lets you make the Rune Knight damage amplification. It's a low-level staff I was using here, so we're hoping to make a stronger one here at one point. We'll have to see what we come up with. Never really went over the staff too much with people, so I figured it'd help with that. But that's pretty much all we're doing. There's the charms. That's going to make you really powerful. Crafting in hardcore, at least with the Serpens, is going to make you powerful. A lot of people are doing Origin, so I don't want to go too deep into how crafting is going to work, since you're not crafting too much on Origin. Here's the skill tree one last time. And just for people that might ask, so you don't have to go to the other videos, this is our Zodiac. Other than being a normal minion build where I'm just kind of going through, hitting all the minion nodes, things that might be interesting for people is speccing, like, 3 points into here once you're really powerful and you have attack enhances. Speccing into energy when you're doing the Rune Knight with extra energy. Pretty nice. I like Time of the Hunt only because I'm using one Rune Knight most of the time and I like to double summon. Alert movement is wonderful for Whirlwind as well. Here's the specialization I use for hardcore. I do recommend kind of switching it up if you're in softcore. You don't really need this ally transmission all the time. And there you go, double Rune Knight. All right, guys. Hopefully that helps you guys with a few of the things on what we're doing. Just wanted to show you how some of the gear works, how the charms work, and then how those Serpens essence work. Hopefully bring a few people over into hardcore here. And when I play or show videos for you guys, I just go into a party. That's why there's never anybody in here. Let's go ahead and leave the party here and let's bring in more people here. Well, oh, one thing I haven't showed. Here's the final relics we ended up. Leo, Acubin, and Castor. And these are what I've ended up with. I just needed the extra HP. Definitely want to switch this out. And the Chaos Dungeon Altar of Blessing appearance chance. Amazing. So if you ever find something like that, definitely keep a hold of it. All right.